Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light. We got Big E and Rudo coming to you live as the Avs are taking on the Seattle Kraken back at home for their final game before the holiday break. The Avs have kind of funnily just been working their way up the Pacific rankings. They beat San Jose in last. They beat Anaheim in second to last. And now they're facing Seattle third to last in the Pacific. I kind of wanted to start here. The Kraken have struggled this season, and they kind of felt like they took a step back last season too. Obviously, they made a couple of big news moves in the offseason, guys like Brandon Montour. Where do you think this Kraken team is? Is there a path to success for them, or are they kind of stuck right now?
It's a great question. I always say that it takes a while to establish a culture, a winning culture, habits, from front office down. And that's not a dagger at them. That is just a reality. I mean, when you are an expansion team, people are going to say, yeah, but Vegas. Yeah, I'm telling you, Vegas, like it was unheard of. That's why it caught everyone by surprise. It caught the whole league by surprise. I think it caught the players by surprise. And I remember, obviously, was doing TV for them that first year. And I think they went on the first road trip and they won like 5 in a row. And everyone was like, what? It was like, what is going on? You know what I mean? And I think that Seattle was more that first season was, so-so and it's exciting, but not, and then they make the playoffs the second year. And that's what I'm trying to say. It goes to show you it's hard to establish roots. It's hard to like I said, that structure, that whatever, aura, that smell, about your franchise. And it's hard to win in the National Hockey League. We can talk about it like on a day like tomorrow, but look at the Buffalo Sabres. I'm not making fun of them. It's a hard league. And it can go sideways, and when it goes sideways like a little bit, and you don't have everything in place, all the structures in place to overcome those things, like you saw with the Avalanche, for example, this year, throughout that rash of injuries and the road trip. And, they have the people there. They have the guys that have been there. Think no less than Makar or Mikko. Sorry, not Makar, but Nate and Mikko. Guys were there in that 48-point season. You know what I mean? Like you build in those years, even though it just absolutely stinks. Yeah. You kind of know what works, what doesn't work. So I think that they're stuck. You're right, in that rut right now and trying to figure out what they are. They change coaches. They bring in some high profile, lots of money free agents like you talked about, i.e. Montour. And it just hasn't panned out this year. It just hasn't panned out. Don't know where you go. I think you just keep swinging. And I think that, if you're Ron Francis and company, you got to figure it out. And you got to have some sort of a direction and stick to your beliefs and your plan and hope that you get out of that rut and go somewhere with it.
You got to figure something out. And for completely selfish reasons, figuring that something out, I'm just saying Yanni Gourde has 1 year left on his deal. Yeah, just saying.
We're both saying.
Yeah. Could be an option for a potential depth center for the Avs, or, maybe otherwise. So,
and again,
kind of why I was asking.
Yeah, and you kind of, as you got to figure out the money because we're of course. But yeah. That's not for you and me to figure out. That's for them to figure out. But oh boy, I'm with you. I'm on that train. If you figure that one out, let's do it. Choo choo. Let's jump on. We're jumping on that train.
Yep. I'd be on that train for sure. No watch along tonight for double reasons. Both Nuggets are playing, and we are still at our home setup, which I promise I'll have a home watch along setup set up after the Christmas break. Chat. We'll be back with them after the break, but no watch along tonight. Um, anyway, getting into tonight's games for the Avs, it is Blackwood in net again for them, who has been nothing but great for them so far in his Avalanche tenure. Let me ask you it this way, as you can see the Avs lineup for the night as Inola gets to draw in again, this time Wagner in for Smith as the only real change to the lineup, at least for personnel-wise. When you have a game like this, it feels like some guys like Blackwood have some momentum going. It feels like the Avs are starting to piece together things like their penalty kill and otherwise. Obviously, the Avs need the break. We'll get to that in a little bit. But is it important to go into this break with a good win and feeling good about yourself, or does that time off kind of allow you to reset either way?
A little bit of both, a little bit of both. And I'm going to go back. I think for any team or any player, I remember, or in management, like a game like tonight is so fun for me. It was so fun because you usually have people in town. You usually have family in town. It's a fun atmosphere. Sometimes it's cousins or little or whatever it is,
Sure.
family, parents, in-laws. It's exciting. It's Christmassy. It's holiday-ish. It's festive and it's kind of nice. And the Avs obviously been gone for so long, and then back one day, and hopefully they savored the day a little bit yesterday, and then today's back to business. You got to be able to shut that off and then get to that game. And I always felt that it was an important game before a break, like before an Olympic break, before a holiday break, before to win, because you just feel so much better when you got those 2 points. I'm not telling you that it's going to be the end of the world if they don't. I'm saying that it just makes it for when you do come back for that crazy game, the 27th. You're just flying a little bit more. You feel a little bit better. You're not so tense and not so, on edge because you lost the last game. Again, you got to remember the National Hockey League, you're only as good as your last game, right? And that's just the way it is. It's always been that way. You say it all the time, all's forgiven if you win the next one. You know what I mean? So, but until you win that next one, it is on
Yeah.
you. It is on your head.
Look
But
at
it's
how we were
important for
talking about the Avs before this back to
that's it.
back. Yeah,
That,
exactly.
yeah, absolutely. And then, so I think it's important. I think it's important to go tonight, put everything aside. Hopefully, they can take a break. Like I said, I think you play for your teammates, you play for your logo, your fans. But it's always a little extra special when you do have family in town. It's fun. There's a reason why people usually have success on those father or mother trips or whatever it is with the team because you're excited. So it's fun when
Yep.
you have family in town, and I think that it's gonna rub off at the Avalanche tonight.
I hope so. I hope they can make this streak into the holiday break. It feels would be good. We'll put it to you that way. When you look at a team like the Kraken, the Avs are certainly more top heavy than the Kraken are. That isn't. I don't say that phrase as a negative. They just have more talent at the top of their lineup than the Kraken do. I'm sure there's some conversation about consistency as we always have. So let's get to your three keys then, so I don't steal any of your ideas, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more.
We do think the same, you know that. And then I talked about it this morning, and that was even before I saw a quote from. We'll talk about it a little later. I saw a quote from Bendar talking about exactly that on point number 3. But anyway, start with point number 1. I think the blue lines are going to be crucial tonight. You got to be smart in both areas of the blue lines, on the offensive zone, on the defensive zone. You need to expose their blue line. I don't like the depth on their blue line. That's me. I think both teams obviously are 3 games in 4 nights, but the Seattle Kraken got the Sega Baba on top of it, on the back end of it. So Seattle's right, like they've lost 4 in a row. This is the perfect opponent tonight for the Avalanche. And when I say blue line, if you want to, get on top of it right here, Tiff, if you want to, like what I meant by that is I got my board. I was being a coach earlier, and that's what I mean by the blue
There you
lines.
go.
You see,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, where I put the shade there? That's where you want. That's where you want the puck to get out tonight. That's where you want the puck to get in. We don't like. Again, we know I like food. No BLTs. We don't like food on. No food on the ice tonight. No blue line turnovers. All right. Key number 2. Home cooking. It starts tonight. The Avs are only 8-8 at home.
Yep.
Not good enough. We all know that. It will get better. It's just I think it's schedule tricky a little bit when you look at the numbers. But they're 7-3 in the last 10. It's great work. It's outstanding work. And then you put away the distractions tonight that I talked about. Hopefully you had some time yesterday to chill, hang out with the little ones or the family. And today is a business-like game. And I think it's very important for the Avalanche to start the home cooking tonight, as they will get a lot of home cooking these next few days, as they have 4 days off, before that game on the 27th at Utah. So key number 3, and that's what we were talking about right before, and that's the part that I saw Bednar talked about a little bit today, is champions minded. There's a quote, there's a guy, ALLCITY that I follow. He says progress is about consistency, not perfection. That's the mindset needed to have progress when it comes to habits as a team like the Avalanche. I think that you have to look at it as it's getting better. I do believe it's gotten better. I do believe that, even the habit of leading after the first has been awesome, because I don't think they've lost a game when they've led after the first. I don't have the stats in front of me. I didn't look at it, but correct. So, it's very important to like the blue lines, if you tie it to key number 1, and very important to be above pucks. And you hear all the time Bednar talk about all that kind of stuff. I'm sure we'll have the presser later. And don't forget to listen to his voice, too. It's kind of nice and cloggy and sicky. And, just kind of shows you what these guys have been through. They've been through the grinder this past month. It was grinder. It was a milkshake slash, blender. It was absolutely disgusting. But, yeah. So I'm looking forward to tonight. I do believe they'll be up to the task. And I think that the big fella in net, obviously, the other guy's been awesome too. Both Woodies have been great. So tonight you got Blackwood, not Wedgwood.
Yeah, it's hard to fault the Avs goaltending since the trades, to be honest. That part of the Avalanche seems solved. It is still a small sample size. I don't want to overreach on that, but you really have very, very few problems with the goaltending since those trades. And if I'm being honest, we've seen a decent portion of the Avs play start to uptick, whether that's the penalty killer 5-on-5, like I mentioned. But I do love that you brought up the home cooking, and you look at this game and you say, look, the Avs are finally about to get their reward for one of the toughest stretches of schedule of any team in the NHL this year. They just have to get through this one, and then you can relax a little bit. So that comes with the usual conversations of nothing to leave in the tank for this one. You're able to let it all gas out.
Yeah, and I do like what they did, the little change of the lineup there. I like Wagner, as you guys know. I know he was brought in to be the captain in obviously in Loveland with the Eagles. I just like on a game like tonight, where you got to be a pro sometimes, how to manage a game like tonight. Like I said, with all the circumstances of the holidays and this and that. I think that he's been through the grinder. I don't mind having that. No offense to Smith, I just haven't seen much from him, to be honest with you. Again, I even thought he was in the minors the other day by not knowing, right? I was not ready, not prepared. I totally misplayed that one against San Jose. But, yeah, I do like what that can do as a line there. Obviously, a little bit of, if you look at the Seattle Kraken, their third and fourth line, like Tanev and Gord, and there's a lot of jam, a little bit of like it is the holiday season. I see a little bit of holiday jam there. So I think that, Wagner likes that. I think it's a great insert tonight. And don't forget, like, we don't really know, like, much about him, but there's one bit, though. I think he is living is Lecky's sister. So I think that that's where there's, like, a little bit of a family connection. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. All the Nordic countries are always hanging out together, I guess, even if they don't like each other sometimes. But just to extrapolate on
Quick
Smith.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking news. Mistake on my part. It is Smith.
Oh, well, there you go.
Like I
That's
said,
my
like,
bad.
he can't win. He can't win with me. Like, I had him out of the lineup the other day, and he was in the lineup. I had it actually out of town. I had him in Loveland, not in San Jose. And tonight I had him out of the lineup, and So take that back.
My
Again,
bad.
he's not, that's okay. It's on me. He's not listening to us. We're not Bednar. So maybe if he was, he would have made the switch. But hey, nonetheless, I'm sure he's going to do more and fine, and he's going to be fine.
It's the same conversation we've had about this spot. The guy's going to play 6 minutes or less, whether it's Wagner, whether it's Smith, whether it's whoever.
Exactly.
There's just not a lot of time to be impactful in that game. And I will say in Smith's defense, in the last 2 games, he has managed to stay out of the penalty box. So there has been at least a little bit of an improvement there from his side of things. And to be fair, earlier in the year, we saw some penalty troubles from Chris Wagner too. So look, you're asking those guys to just go even or better. That's it. That's all. You don't need them to do a lot for you.
Even or better, like a first spirit on the road. Even or better. Come on. Let's go.
Exactly
But
right.
they're at home.
Exactly. Except for they're at home. I was going to ask that 8-8 scoreline. Are we summoning Cale Makar night tonight, or what is that?
Which one?
They're 8-8 at home. Double 8 for number 8.
Oh yes, Makar is going to get a hat trick. See, 8-8 and then 8 for a hat trick. Make it 3-8 instead of 7-7-7 in Vegas. It's 3-8 tonight. Let's go.
All right. You mentioned some of Bednar's quotes earlier. We do have his pregame presser for you here, so let's hear what Coach had to say.
You guys go ahead.
Any changes to the lineup, updates on he was running a red non-contact, but guys like Josh Manson?
No changes to the lineup. Mance is getting close, though. He's feeling better every day. Hopefully right after the break. Duren's making improvements. Not sure exactly when he's going to be back in yet. The other guys are still long-term.
Blackwood and net.
Blackwood and net.
You guys have been on the road, obviously, we talked about this. 27 of the last 35 days.
Yeah.
Being back at home against Seattle, you won the last game that you played them here, but they're on a back-to-back. Is there an advantage for that, or?
Should be an advantage. Yeah. Although, like, with us coming off the road, it's not like we got a ton of rest just getting in yesterday. But still, listen, we got to finish strong, right? We're finally getting a break. I think a well-deserved break. We can't start until after this game's over. Like, we need these points again. They're big points. We're getting a team coming in on a back-to-back. I like our team's mindset this morning, so we got to go finish and play well tonight. Give ourselves the best chance to win. Grab another 2 points before the break.
Seems like one of the longest road stretches for you guys in a long time, too. Is it nice to kind of finally get that out of the way somewhat earlier in the season? Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind going on the road. That ended up feeling like a long month. But we didn't, no more big injuries come out of it. We're finally starting to look like we might get some guys back in the lineup, which is a positive. We're going to get our home stretch here in January. It's behind us now. We survived it, played pretty well at times. We still got another step we can take with our team when it comes to the consistency of our game, I feel like. But the goaltenders are giving us a chance every night. Special teams basically won us the last 2 games. So I like the way some things are coming together with our team.
The record you played, I think, a few more road games this year, but the record on the road is quite a bit better than at home. Are you seeing anything different on the road than maybe at home?
And we flip-flop it back and forth too, year to year. Seems like we have one year everything goes great at home, we playing really well and getting the record that we want, and then road isn't so good, and then we flip-flop. Clearly, we are playing better on the road. There's no question, but why that is, why our starts have been a little bit better on the road than at home, I don't know. We're not really changing anything when it comes to the approach of it, so hopefully things turn around here for us January, starting tonight. No, you're good.
The power play has been converting now on a couple of opportunities. What are some of the biggest changes you've seen that have allowed them to?
Same thing I talked about here when you were asking me about when it was bad or when everyone was asking me about it. It's getting into that. There's an urgency, a determination within the group to check the puck back when things don't go well. They're starting to get hungry again around the net. And it's that attack and shooting mentality that we need from especially the guys in the umbrella, not just passing it around and feel comfortable. There's a pace and that we started to play with and shoot the puck and retrieve it and I guess repetition of those things, for as often as you can during the 2-minute stretch is really important to try and create not only the initial scoring chance, but secondary scoring chances off of it. There's less one and done. So when we play like that, our power play can be really good, and we've seen that through course of this year. And hopefully they're back on track here a little bit. I always think it's going to go through some peaks and valleys, but that valley was a little too long for us. Now hopefully we can get it back on track and keep it rolling here tonight.
Coach, you mentioned good goalie, but is that stability there at that goalie lead confidence in the team in 2 in a row? Do you like that? What do you like about that?
Yeah, I think it has longer than just the 2 in a row, though. I think our team's confident in front of both of these guys. I think they both do a really good job managing the game. I mean, you go through a stretch like that on the road. It wasn't, there were games where it wasn't our best hockey. I would say since we came home off that road trip where we went 4-1, we've been a little up and down. We played some good hockey in those games, but it's just not as consistent as what we would like it. I do believe that fatigue is a little bit of factor. The time of the year is a little bit of factor, but you get a goalie or goalies that are giving you a chance every night and, slowing the game down and confident net play. It's really helped our penalty kill. A lot of our analytics are the same, but now all of a sudden our penalty kill is climbing spots in the standings. And so it's definitely helping us. There's no question. And you got 2 guys that are up for the challenge. It's, they're giving you a chance every night to try and get your legs underneath you and finish games strong.
When Ross Colton came back, you mentioned wanting to get him on the top line so that Val and Lehkonen could be back with Casey. It seems like it's kind of flipped the other way. Is that something you still want to work toward?
Yeah, we'll see. Depends on how he plays. He's back on the number 1 power play time, so he is getting ice time with those guys. It just depends on how those lines are playing and what they're doing. I like the combinations that are available for us in the top 6 especially. So we flipped it obviously last 2 games, Val and Lecky with McKinnon. So he is playing now again with Mikko, just not Mac.
I know it's a long way off. I know you're going to say we have to get there first, but you no longer have a goaltender who has started a game in the playoffs. In your coaching experience, how much has that ever mattered?
No. No, I think what you do through the course of the year is what gives you the confidence in your goaltending or not, And I think what we're seeing from these guys we really like, and they're giving us a chance. We got a lot of hockey to play before playoff time.
Your last ones?
Yuri Olive made his NHL debut recently too. He's obviously sticking with the team. What have you liked about his game?
Yeah,
So far?
he was pretty good. I liked his game the other night. Wasn't a lot of minutes, obviously another close one. But I'd say his camp was just okay. But he went down there and did some good things. He's got a skill level and a quickness to his game and an offensive-minded approach to his game where I'm hoping that he can help provide a little puck savvy for our bottom 6. And I liked his game the other night. He had a big block shot. He made a couple nice plays, almost scored. So, he was I would say a veteran rookie. He's been around for a while. He's a little older. He's a little more experienced. I don't think he's overwhelmed by the situation. He's looking to come up and try and prove himself. I don't mind having some hungry players like that in our lineup.
Coach, you had mentioned that there was some sickness going through the room a little bit ago. Is that already?
Yeah, that's pretty much gone now. I think we've got a few guys with some lingering, congestion, but I think for the most part our guys are feeling better now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So, as usual, Jared Bednar just focused on the stuff directly in front of him with tonight's game and then the break that when even coaches saying they need a break, it's bad for the team. They just need to get a couple of days off here. Our crystal ball has been pretty good the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Give me a hot hand and a score, buddy.
I'm going to go... I like Joey Decor, you guys know that. So I'm going to go... I'm going 3-1 good guys. No empty netters, regular. And I think the hot hand tonight, God, I'm sticking with him. I got to stick with it. You said it, 888. I'm going Cale Makar. I think he's out of his bonkers tonight, out of his world tonight.
Yep.
Cale Makar.
Go. I'm here for Cale. Yeah, I agree with Randy. It's been 4-2 2 games in a row. Let's make it 4-2 3 games in a row. Just
You
keep
and
it
Randy have
consistent.
no clue. It's fine.
For the hot hand, I am gonna go. I'll go with someone a little bit more fun than the superstars, but I'm gonna take Logan O'Connor tonight to score the goal. Yeah, I think you were one game early with the LOC.
I was
call,
one
so.
game early. He made a
Yeah.
nice play on the shorty to my guy,
He did.
Parker
He did.
Kelly. Parker Kelly.
See the Avs depth keep things rolling a little bit here. We also have my pregame picks from Bet365, though, and there I didn't shy away from the superstars as much. I do, however, think it might be a little bit of a lower end scoring game. Eric mentioned it. It's 3-4 for both teams, especially Seattle should be tired for this one. So I took under 2 goals in the first at even money. I'm taking the Rantanen power play point at plus 150, and I'm taking no score in the first 10 minutes at plus 115. So all plus money, and maybe a little bit of a slower start to two teams finding their legs as they try to push through the final portion of the pre-break season, I suppose. I don't know. There's tons of stuff to bet on in this game, and a lot of it is weird. Just not feeling a lot of scoring in this one, though, so we'll see how it plays out. You don't have to bet on just this, though. Of course, you have Sunday Night Football going on if you want to bet on that, and plenty of other options. The Nuggets are playing, too, so do it with Bet365. Whatever you do, it's never ordinary with Bet365. And, of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado, and if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. All right. I don't know that we have a ton else to cover on this one, but let me ask you this. How closely as a player do people follow the season? Because I think it's pretty easy to say, you play this game, you've played 36 games or whatever it is. Are players just calling the Christmas break the halfway point of the season? Or do they feel like, no, we got to get all the way there?
No, I do believe it. I do believe the break is usually in your hey, let's get to the Christmas break, the holiday break, whatever you want to call it, and then usually afterwards I got to have a better second half. It's usually like, yeah, I was sitting with my dad or with my wife, and it was at Christmas dinner, and I just kind of said, okay, let's regroup here. And you hear guys say that all the time, about what happened in your second half, and they just kind of regroup and get going. I do believe as a player, you want to get to the break, and then after that, it's like, okay, you breathe for a couple days, and then you're going. Again, this year, there's that Four Nations break. Obviously, it's a little bit of an unorthodox year with that type. But I think now you do a short-term goal. You go from this break to the Four Nations, and you do have, as a team and as individuals, those short-term goals, because it's going to be fairly short. You're talking about like 6 weeks, right? Give and take.
Exactly. It's a little bit easier to break it up. It feels like the Avs have been going for almost 3 months straight, I guess 2.5 months straight. That's that 6 week span. Then it's after that, it's like 3 weeks to the trade deadline, and then the last month of the season. It feels a little bit more broken up, and you can take it a little bit step by step a little bit better. So the Avs are almost there, but hopefully they can go into that breathing a little bit easier if they can win tonight. We are going to wrap up this pregame show. As mentioned, no watch along. Those will be back after Christmas, I promise. But we will be live post-game, breaking it all down for you no matter what happens. So please join us after the game on this same YouTube channel. Of course, like and subscribe. Helps it a lot. You guys have been super generous since we've hit 100K. I think we're at 111K now. So you guys have been piling in here. We appreciate that. That's it. And we will talk to you after the game.
We all silly like the mayor.